Alright, so today I wanted to talk about why landlocking everyone to planets and forcing people to live on planets in Space Engineers is good in a PvP setting. And I'm known for putting out some pretty controversial topics, but widely agreed upon, of course, such as Shield suck and Captain Jack sucks and Luca the Guide sucks. So now I'm saying space sucks. Let's do planets. And I'm going to annoy a lot of my own Discord members with this. That's just kind of how we roll here. So let's start with why people don't go on planets in the first place. For starters, it's hard to gather resources on planets. The resource veins in space are a lot bigger, and they're also in zero gravity, and they're also exposed, and there's not like an entire planet around them and stuff. So you can get a really big ship right up to your resource deposit, mine the entire thing, and your ship can weigh, I don't know, 50 million kilograms. You'll be fine. You're in space. There's no gravity. You might be really heavy, and it might take you a while to accelerate, but you'll be fine. On a planet, you're just going to fall to the ground because you can't hold yourself up. And rocks are known for being ridiculously heavy. So, yeah, you really just can't bring that big of a ship to mine stuff on Earth or Mars or wherever because it's going to fall to the ground if you try to dig up everything at once. The second reason planets suck is that it's easy to be found on planets, mainly due to voxel deformation, which is this thing where if you like mine some voxels, then someone from far away will see it as a big hole, and someone from really far away will see it as a really big hole. Basically, even if you just dig a tiny hole down to get the iron, people with medium, low, or even high graphic settings will see a much larger hole the farther away they get. Combined with the fact that, unlike asteroids, planets are really big and they can also be seen from ridiculously far away, means that the hole on the surface of a planet can get really big, and it's really easy to find it. So then you can just go straight to it, find the voxel deformation, which is usually near someone's base, find their base, that's it. The third final thing on planets is it's difficult to build stuff. If you want to print a big ship, you're going to need some way to move it around. And depending on the size of the ship, this can go from you just need to use a bigger ship to pull it through a welding wall to the ship is like 10 million kilograms. I'm going to have to lift it using just pistons and rotors and subgrids and stuff like that so that it doesn't fall to the ground, which makes building big things really hard. Whereas in space, you can just wall print them out with like a fighter, no big deal, because there's no gravity. So, given all these bad things I've said about planets, why would it be advantageous to force everyone on a PvP server onto one planet? Let's begin. First of all, a lot of PvP servers, get this, don't have PvP. I've been on many servers up to this point. The common theme of them is that I'll go onto them, I'll get interested in it, and I'll like build up a base or whatever, and I'll be like, all right, I'm ready to go fight someone. And then I just sit there waiting for a fight to happen, and waiting for a fight to happen. Everyone else is hiding in space. It's not like I can go to them and shoot them. And no one else wants to fight because they're just going to lose their stuff, so they have no motive to do anything. On a planet, however, because it's super easy to find everyone, you can just go to their base and shoot at them if you want to do some combat. And that means that combat actually happens. And also, there's no people hiding far away or whatever. Thankfully, it's not super easy to get wiped. You're now surrounded by a planet which has voxels, and voxels are pretty resistant to things that shoot you. So just build your base under the voxels, and you'll be more or less protected from enemy ships. Of course, there's exceptions. I don't know, those wacky people that use like bunker busters or whatever to punch deep underground. If you want to use player-made weapons to punch into a bunker, I'm going to applaud you because you're going to the length of building player-made weapons. But the point is, if you build your base under a couple of voxels, it's going to stay relatively safe. That's about it. The second reason that landlocking people to planets is good is that it soft caps what you can build your ships out of and how big you can build your ships. For starters, big ships generally have a harder time propelling themselves around. They're bigger, they're heavier, they're slower. Now, there's exceptions, but that's generally the rule. Building a big ship on a planet is expensive, and when you finally get it done, it's got barely any mobility, and then its mobility just gets shut out and it crashes to the surface and it dies. And this means that the somewhat large ships and even the ridiculously large ships, which can't even fly anyways, won't exist. So you won't have to deal with big gun bricks. And then there's gravity drives, which just don't work. Now, some people hate this. Actually, a lot of people hate this because a lot of people love exploiting the gravity drives as the most overpowered form of propulsion in the game. I don't really like gravity drives. I find them unethical. So I think this is good because it chills everything out, right? It forces you to use the two normal methods of propulsion, which is hydro thrusters and atmo thrusters. especially with the new Atmo thrusters we've got. It leaves some opportunities for some newer, more innovative ship designs. So this kind of restricts the meta a little bit and makes it so that things aren't as crazy as they normally were. And finally, because you're in a gravity well, you can't use jump drives. So the final problem with combat in this game is that if you try to shoot someone, more often than not, they're just gonna leave. Wow. Like, so fun when somebody just leaves on you. So the solution is if you put them in a gravity well, jump drives don't work, they can't leave, which is nice. It means that now if you go into a fight with the intent of winning, you're probably going to win it versus whatever happens in survival nowadays. So that's good. So to sum it up, I think that it's a good idea to landlock people to planets because it chills down PvP overall and makes it so that you don't have to deal with grav drives, you don't have to deal with people who are leaving, and also makes it so PvP actually happens in the first place. So thanks for staying and listening to my rather unpopular opinion. I'll see you later.